Today's topic is, are people in general more hostile today than ever before, or does it just appear that way? And if so, what is behind the recent surge in violence the last few years? So, from your guys' perspective, your opinions, you guys surf everyone gets on the internet. We all see things in the news and videos and stuff. It almost appears that violence is up there. Do you think that's just a false deception? It's not really the case, or what is your thoughts on it?
I think when that is if that is your personality, I don't think maybe not necessarily violence, but maybe cynical. I think our world is a little bit more cynical than it used to be. And if you have that cynical outlook, I think you kind of surround yourself with your life, what people are like. And
you see what you want to
see.
Echo, is it some phrase?
Right.
Echo
Yeah.
Echo chamber, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that's how it is. And I do think our media, that is, and it is nothing but negativity, I feel like, a lot of times.
Yeah.
I don't know if violence is actually up, or does everybody just have a super high def camera in their pocket now?
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
the reporting just seems to be way higher.
It's instant. I mean, anybody can be. That's the whole Elon's thing with Twitter, right? It's like just bringing journalism back. Like anybody can be one. You can take a video, post it on the internet, and that's a news story right there.
Right.
Instantly.
But like, if we all had cameras back in, 20 years ago.
I don't think people have changed. I think people have gotten less, from my point of view, my age
Yeah.
group. I don't know if, maybe it's just the people I surround myself with. And I mean, I like violence. I like sanctioned violence. I like watching people hit each other.
Yeah.
But I feel like with my generation, my age, it's just being violent. Like, a lot of us just see it as, what's the point?
Right.
It's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah. A lot of it, I think it's just the algorithm. Because I feel like you watch one fight video, all of a sudden you're seeing like 10 more fight videos because the internet thinks that that's what you want to see. Like, no, like you just watched one for maybe a few seconds too long, and now it's like, now you're seeing it all the time. Now your deception, you start to think like, wow, there's fights in every McDonald's right now. Waffle houses are like just fight pits nowadays. Like, it just seems that way, but I mean, it's not. I mean, there's a Waffle House near us. I never hear about fights there.
I do think people are a little bit angrier than they used to be. I don't really have any data to back that
Yeah.
up, but what I do know is that it's far more easier with your keyboard or with your thumbs to say something to somebody you would never say in real life.
Yeah.
Right.
And because you would either feel bad about it or just have the guts, whatever the case may be. It's easier to say something negative to someone, and you have more opportunities because it's so big. So I personally think that's probably one of the biggest drawbacks of social media, and there are plenty good ones, but I think one of the biggest bad ones is this frictionless negativity.
Yeah. I have heard teachers say that kids have gotten way too comfortable sitting behind a keyboard or their phones, just being able to talk to whoever they want, however they want. They think they can just say whatever they want and then get away with it. And then they don't realize that that's not really the case when you're in person with somebody. Then there's usually there's consequences. It's different for sure.
Yeah, it's spent a lot of time. I'm not saying I spend any more time on the internet than anybody, but I mean I like Twitter, and it just seems like it's like you can say whatever you want because what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get your account banned? Oh, well, make a new account.
No real consequences.
There's no consequences.
Right.
And the kids that, or just people in general that are sitting on the internet just spewing hate all the time at people, I don't think they're the type of people that do that in person.
Yeah.
There's a reason they do it online.
Well, I think there's I suppose female and male, there's the reality of, like, when Carter was little, in the 3-year-old pre-K class, he would get like an attitude. This is before that, he would be rough on kids sometimes. So they put him up a bigger class to know there would be some kind of consequences. Because if you pick on a guy a year older than you at that age, they might shove you, push you, and you realize actions have consequences. Words have consequences.
Yeah.
And that's it. The same is true. Like, it's the total stereotype of like drunk dudes at bars. The wrong thing said the wrong person. Somebody's just looking for a fight sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's that reality of consequences in real life of what you say
Mhm.
with negative stuff. If you say, "Oh man, your wife's super ugly," you can say that online, like you said, Josh, probably zero consequence. You said in real life, somebody might get hit or worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I definitely think technology has made people way too comfortable and just being able to say whatever they want. And then I think sometimes people do kind of lose sight on that. Like they've never dealt with consequences before. They don't know what it's like, like, so when they get in a situation where they are in a heated argument, like they don't realize that, like, yeah, there are people out there that will pop you for real. Not everybody will, but there's going to be that one person that
You know, it's a possibility.
yeah, there's that one person that is not afraid to go to jail and is not afraid of, so I don't know. It's basically.
Well, I think the consequences are learned, like you learn them over time
Mhm.
as they go. I think a lot of people that don't understand consequences is from probably not the best parenting, because that's, I feel like, one of the biggest things you teach someone, like as you move to adulthood, like everything you do has consequences, good and bad.
Yeah.
And
true.
that's the reality. And I think one of the hardest parts of being an adult is realizing you have to accept consequences. And then you become a parent, you got to accept other people's consequences too. Or an employer consequences in that realm too. CEOs resign for something an employee did they'd never met once in their life.
Yeah.
Some Starbucks employee says something like, goes off some racist tirade, CEO might have to resign. It had nothing to do with it,
Yeah.
but that happens.
What are your thoughts?
I was like, you guys pretty much summed it up, I feel like. I was like, social media kind of
Yeah. We feel like
drives a lot of the negativity.
Yeah,
I
desensitized.
feel like it's like you really can't put your finger on it, but it has something to do with it. You just know, what I'm saying? It has something, social media, that's like, you don't want to blame social media for every problem there is, but you know that there is some correlation there.
I wouldn't say it was just even social media. I mean, it's movies,
I was
it's TVs, it's
I was
you
gonna
know,
say,
Yeah.
it's news, it's everything. We're just bombarded with so much information these days
Yeah.
that we just don't get away from it.
Like when you said the news, I'll go over to your house. I never have the news on because I think it's just terrible.
Same.
Like when you guys are watching the news at home, I'm sitting there listening to it, I'm like, how do people just ingest hours of this every day? Like,
Yeah.
I would have a negative outlook on life and the world, country too, if this is all I watched.
You know, I listened. I watched a Bill Maher thing. It was talking to some scientist, psychologist person. They were talking about the science behind why negative news pops so much more than positive news. And they say basically positive news tends to happen real slowly, and negative news is almost instantaneous.
Mhm.
So breaking news, it's not like breaking news. People are living longer than they did 50 years ago.
Right.
That's not breaking
Right.
news, even though that's
Yeah.
positive news. It just
Yeah.
happens so much slower.
Right. It just really seems like there's some news outlets that are really just trying to scare you. They really want you to
I think
think.
most of them are.
I would
Yeah,
say
Maybe
so.
they're
all.
really just
Maybe
trying
all.
to
All of them.
that literally like the world could end right now. Like it's almost
Yeah.
it's what it feels like. But so we're kind of all in agreement that we don't really think that violence is more so today. It just seems like that with the technology, with the reporting of
I
it.
think
And
violence is
I
more so
was
today.
Oh, you think so?
More
I don't know any
people, more
numbers or anything.
violence.
yeah,
You can tell me and I believe it.
I would
either
say
way.
definitely more cynical than
yeah. It's hard to say without the data in front of
Yeah.
us.
Mm.
Point.
just perception, our own personal.
Like there's places like that you used to not really feel like I like with Carter, like a monster truck thing downtown St. Louis. It was super fun, but I think maybe like I don't think my dad had been like a generation younger. I was just kind of looking over my shoulder, kind of nervous, like there's shootings on Washington. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of like you're just a little bit nervous, and I don't think that was the same generation ago. And that's one place. I'm sure some places aren't that way at all.
Yeah.
But I think you're a little more nervous of stuff. I mean, people with kids in school and school shootings are a real thing. That wasn't like a thing 50 years ago, and people had
Right.
way more access to guns then.
Yeah. I know it's really weird because whenever I'm in somewhere, I'm always looking to see where the exit's at.
Like we were in Nashville
Yeah.
the other day
Mhm.
for a friend's 40th, and I remember thinking, and this was a strange thought, but like, if I were a mass shooter, this is where I would come. You walk right up, people everywhere. You know what I mean? I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, if I was of that state of mind, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't think there was one metal detector, one thing first. A lot of cops everywhere, but you could have carrot walked it with anything you wanted on
Yeah,
a
man.
sea of people. And I found myself like paying a little more attention, like trying to think,
hmm
is that person what they're gonna shoot somebody?
yeah.
That's such a horrible way.
It was a
just
strange
such-
way.
Such a crazy world we're kind of living and getting accustomed to at the moment. But yeah, I mean that's all I have on this kind of
Me too.
I think a little angrier
little angrier,
I
and
agree.
a lot more amplified.
amplified.
I think just more amplified.
There's
Or-
more crazy nowadays. I'm gonna say. That
Yeah.
goes
You think
on.
more crazy now than there was?
Yeah,
More people.
yeah.
A higher percentage of
I
crazy.
mean, I
More
asked.
I
people,
would
so
think
that's
social
the same
media drives
percentage.
it up too for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked this question, so it does appear to be more violent today, but is it actually? I really don't know. All right,
Yeah.
that's all I got. Do we have?
We have it.
We walked to Manchester, England.